Welcome back to today's video. I believe this is part 3 in a multi-part series that we're working on prone activities. In other words, a complete routine of laying on your stomach, which is absolutely essential to restoring all of your functional mobility after a neurologic injury, i.e. walking, reaching, going up and down stairs, going in and out of it, getting in and out of a car, going up and down ramps. Laying on your stomach and doing exercises on your stomach will absolutely speed up your recovery to those goals. Now, again, I mentioned this is a progression. We started with very early stage activities. Now we're starting to get into a little bit more kind of what I would call moderate stage activities, meaning they're going to be a little bit more challenging. I strongly recommend that you watch the videos in order. And that's just really to set yourself up for success. If you start at the beginning and you speed through it and you're like, I can do all of that, great, just move on to the next one. But you don't really want to skip over anything because it's just going to lead to frustration if you're not laying a good foundation. So make sure that you watched the videos before this one, before diving into this one. But in this video, what we're going to do is activate more of those shoulder muscles, activate more of that posterior chain that we've been slowly building up to in the earlier videos, and what I call those out of synergy movements. For those of you that are new, an abnormal synergy pattern is something that can happen after a neurologic injury. And an abnormal synergy pattern is just when muscles or groups of muscles link up abnormally together. For many of you, what that looks like in the lower extremity are the hip extensors, the muscles that bring that leg backwards, linking up with the muscles that lock that knee out. That is not ideal when you're walking. You want to be able to separate those muscle groups, and we're going to do that a little bit more today. Again, I call these like out of synergy movements. And as far as the upper extremity, reaching really involves having a shoulder blade that moves, and it really involves stretching out all the structures that are pulling your arm in and forward, which I don't really need to explain that. If you've had a neurologic injury, you know that's involved your arm. You kind of know what I'm talking about. So we're just going to keep building and advancing, getting all of those structures stretched out. So if you are in kind of like the moderate stage of recovery, or you want some exercises that are like moderately difficult after a neurologic injury, this video is for you. Let's go ahead and dive into our, I think, third installment in our prone exercise routine. All right, so this routine is going to be a little bit different. The first two we actually got on your stomach with your legs straight. This one, because we're getting a little bit more advanced and a lot of you guys are a little bit more mobile, if you can get near a wall, we're going to be on your stomach in a little bit of a different position. So you're going to lay as close as you can to a wall by your feet, keeping your knees bent. You're going to try and roll over. Now, don't think you can't do this until you try it. All right? Some of you are going to be able to do this. You just got it. It just might not be easy, but if you can, or if you have help, you want to lay today, this installment of prone, we're going to do with your knees bent. Why is that? Because we're working further out of that abnormal synergy pattern. Remember, I said hip extension and knee extension go together. Well, now we're doing hip extension, so your hip is straight, but your knees are bent. So we're advancing and we're training your brain how to work out of an abnormal synergy pattern. And then once you're there, you take your stronger arm, you're going to put this arm out like this, and you're just going to stretch. Once you can do that, you're going to take your other arm. Remember, we always start with a little mobilization, and you're going to kind of do a push-up and stretch that arm a little bit more. If you can't do this, go back to the previous video where I show an easier version of this if your shoulder's really tight. All right, we're just stretching that arm out. If you can do that, you're going to try and do what we call like a little press up. Remember, these are getting a little bit more advanced. You might not be able to do all of them. Just do what you can. All right. Now from there, remember we did the opposite leg lifts in the previous video? We're going to do the same thing, only now with your knees bent, again, still working out of that synergy pattern. Same thing with the arm, reaching that opposite arm up. Okay, but now what we're going to try and do is you're going to take your arm out to the side and you're going to try and do a little lift. Okay, remember, we're getting more advanced. Try and do a little lift out to the side, working out of that synergy pattern. All right, next you're going to come up onto your elbows. You're going to take a weight, lift it and place it on the opposite side of your shoulder, and then try and reach through and pull it through. Okay, really requires a lot more of the muscle activation or stabilizing in this shoulder. Again, remember, these are advanced. If this looks too hard, go back to the previous video where we show easier variations of prone on elbows. Reach it across, reach under, pull it through. Okay, reach across, reach under, and pull it through. Okay, now we're going to try and do is really activate hip extension with this leg with your knee bent. Okay, some of you aren't going to be able to do this, but just do what you can. This is at the end because it's probably the hardest activity. Not all of you are going to be able to do it, but I still think this is a better position to start practicing this on because, again, you're working out of that synergy pattern because your knee is bent. Then you're just going to work on that lift. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Don't forget, we do have 2 membership programs. To learn more about our membership programs and to sign up, you can visit rehab-hq.com. But also, there is still one further progression that we are going to be going over next week for those of you that really want to advance your kind of basic functional mobility and just make your body overall more efficient with walking, reaching, lifting. So definitely come back for that routine if that is you. But also, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you turn on that notification bell so that you will get notified when that video comes out. As I mentioned earlier, if you're watching this in the future and you're wondering where the other videos are in this progression, if you go to Rehab-HQ main channel and you go to videos, they are in chronological order. So if you scroll down to about the date of this video, you will see all the other videos that came before this and the videos that came after this, or I think there's only one left that comes after this, but hopefully all of that makes sense. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.